Welcome to Clayton Valley Presbyterian Church on this beautiful Lenten Sunday. I'm Kathleen, and I'm glad to have you at the Story Circle today. In ordinary times when we meet together, we normally gather in the sanctuary first. Spend a little time with Pastor Barbara before the teachers and the children and those who are young at heart return to this room, where we're greeted one by one and called by name to this circle. Whoever's teaching that morning greets us the same way every time. The Lord be with you. And then one of you at the circle would go to our circle of the church year to move us forward here in our seasons. We know we're in the purple time, the serious, getting ready time of Lent. The season when we try to get ready for the mystery that is Easter. We make our hands still, and our mouths still, and our bodies still. Even if we've heard the story before, we were different the last time we heard it. So we need to be ready to see what's in today's story for us, just for us. Whether we're looking at a parable, or we're hearing a story of celebration and worship, or one of the sacred stories. Where are we in that story today? We need to know where to find it so that we can work with it another time, and of course know where to put it back. So watch, I'm going to the sacred stories from the Greek scriptures, the New Testament. During Lent, we like to try to follow the life of Jesus as we try to come close to who he really was and who we really are because of that. Here on the second shelf, let's take it back to the circle. And you know when you see this, some of you remember. In the same way that we know that the desert stories place us in a particular time and place, some of you remember that at this season, we're often finding ourselves near the Sea of Galilee. Just like the desert box, we need a piece of the Sea of Galilee in our room. So many important things happen in Jesus' life. Near the Sea of Galilee, we have this to help us remember and to wonder. Now, the Sea of Galilee is really a huge lake. It's kind of like the lake where I live, because most of the time the sea is beautiful and even smooth like glass. But sometimes it can be wild and rough. People fish on the Sea of Galilee. And of course they travel across the sea because it's big. It's a faster way to get across to the other side. So of course there are a lot of boats on the Sea of Galilee. Now remember, when you want to get this story out, remember this, and then you'll know which basket. Jesus and his friends had been teaching and healing. They met with people all over the countryside and would spend all day with them. People just wanted to be close to Jesus. They wondered about this kingdom that he would talk about. Because it wasn't a kingdom they'd visited or heard about. All that teaching and working with God's people. Sometimes Jesus and his friends got tired. And so this time, they came down the hill, down to the beach. And Jesus said to his friends that it was time for them to get in the boat and cross the sea and go to a quiet place where they could rest for a little while before they continued their teaching and the healing. So they got in the boat. This boat's like a lot of boats on the Sea of Galilee. Not very big boats that they took out to go fishing and to go traveling. They had to make room for everyone. Let's see if we can do that. They might have to go down below. I think they do. They might have to go down below the deck. As it got dark and they were out on the Sea of Galilee, crossing to the other side, a storm came up. The wind blew, and of course you know what happens to the water then. The wind blew the water up over the boat. It was rocking. They were down below trying to sleep, but the boat was rocking so much, and there was water coming in over the top of the boat, driven by this great wind. Jesus' friends were frightened. They thought that the boat was going to turn over in the sea. And they went to wake up Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, wake up! What's the matter with you? Don't you know we're going to drown? And Jesus got up and went to the front of the boat, to the bow. And he said to the wind, stop. And he said to the waves, quiet. And then he went back to bed below deck. And they sailed on. And his friends wondered. He asked them, do you still have no faith? Who could this man be who could quiet the wind and the waves? Now I wonder, in this story that takes place on the sea, clouds and a storm, I wonder what part you like the best. If someone asked you what's important about this story of Jesus and the storm, I wonder what you would tell that person. I wonder where you might be in this story. One of the people in the crowds that came to hear Jesus and perhaps be healed. Maybe you're one of Jesus' friends who was so frightened and then so amazed. Perhaps they thought they knew their friend, and yet they were still amazed. I wonder what this story makes you wonder about. For Jesus could do so many things that other people could not. It reminded us in so many ways that we must believe and have faith. So in the week ahead, as you hold this story in your heart, I hope that you will wonder more and that it touches your faith. And until we come together again at the Story Circle, may the Lord bless you and keep you now and always.